Hello.
Hey.
Hi. Welcome, Sonia, to the first session of our Mind Medicine Health at Home series. It's a pleasure to welcome you. How are you?
Thank you. Yeah, very well, and very excited as well to be here and very honored to be asked to present.
You're welcome. I'm excited to hear and for you to be able to share all your wisdom. I know you have a lot of experience in various mind-body practices, and we've known each other for a long time, since childhood, and done many things together in that realm, including gymnastics when we were young and yoga in more recent times. So yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. You're a wealth of wisdom and beautiful connectedness. I know that you offer many things in the community. So can you just start by telling us a little bit about your background and what healing modalities or activities you've been drawn to offer?
Yeah, so I guess when you say background, I do think about gymnastics as being kind of my first step into learning about the body and movement and health. And it was something that I was naturally drawn to. And ZenThai Shiatsu, which I also have been naturally drawn to, is similar in that it just feels like I'm just sort of following this path. And these movement-based modalities are the things that really attract me. So yeah, I guess starting with gymnastics and then getting into the outdoors has also been a really big inspiration for me, and doing outdoor adventure. And so the connectedness between healing and nature is really massive. So that those connections of movement, healing, nature, community seem to be where I spend my time, and energy to try and cultivate. So I guess my background in the recent years has been mostly ZenThai Shiatsu, and then a big component of that is yoga. And my teacher draws in yoga with the ZenThai Shiatsu, which is actually a combination of Zen Shiatsu, traditional Thai massage, and an osteopathic technique. And he brings in all kinds of things. It's based on oriental medicine, and it's great that Chinese medicine is always about evolving. And so I feel as though Gwyn, who is my teacher, has really been blessed with having so many amazing teachers himself, and just a great teacher naturally for him, and he's brought it all together really beautifully. And so I guess he's my main inspiration, and yoga has been a big part of this journey for me, as well as dance. I love to explore things like contemporary dance, functional movement, and another big part of what I do is nonviolent communication, because our relationships and the way that we're actually in communication with ourselves and with nature and with each other and with the big system of the world, which is in a really interesting time at the moment, then that NVC comes in handy. And I'm trying to get as many people into that as possible, because I think it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. And so in terms of ZenThai Shiatsu, because I know that's what you're going to be offering a little bit of today in movement as well, drawing on that kind of Chinese medicine aspect of ZenThai Shiatsu, and specifically how that affects our immunity and our immune system. But for those people who aren't familiar with what ZenThai Shiatsu is, can you just talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so it's a movement-based modality, often talking about the meridians and different aspects of Chinese medicine, and things like Qigong and Tai Chi, similar in that aspect. And ZenThai is a bodywork. And I mentioned Gwyn before, who's brought in lots of different things. ZenThai Shiatsu, I think, has like an essence that is very profound, where it does attract people who have got that compassionate heart, already, but it actually even it just nourishes and nurtures that part of ourselves. And so as someone who studies it, you kind of drop into that real true essence of who you are, and you give from that place of full, like, mudita, loving kindness, and yeah, I think, and then the actual movement side of it is just so intelligent and so effective as well. So that's that's, I guess, why I'm so into it. And tonight, because I'm going to be sharing mostly movement rather than the actual bodywork, but I'll throw in little options for people if they have a friend with them that they can work on somebody else. And yeah, so I'll just sort of throw that in there.
Beautiful. That sounds amazing. Yeah, the ZenThai Shiatsu I've practiced with you, and you know, it has many similarities to yoga, Thai yoga massage, and I think really draws in a number of things, including aspects, I think, of Reiki, and like you said, that that metta, that loving kindness. So it really becomes a moving loving kindness meditation for both the practitioner and the receiver, the giver and the receiver. Yeah. So I'm really excited for you to share that. Did you want to talk a little bit briefly about the session and what you're going to offer, or did you want to just jump straight in and demonstrate from here?
I feel ready to jump straight in. If I talk about what I'm doing with ZenThai, is I'm based in Newcastle, and I offer treatments at the moment. What's felt good for me to do is just offer sessions on a Monday, so 1 day a week, open for that, and then doing some online yoga, and that involves some pregnancy yoga. My sister's actually pregnant at the moment, so I like to connect with her on Zoom, and I've done some special pregnancy trainings for ZenThai Shiatsu, which is like uses yoga as well, and yeah, and the ZenThai Shiatsu is the 4-day foundational courses I've been running for a while. So we'll see what happens with those when they're available to be run again. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I think I'll just jump in and get started.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Sonia. I'll leave you.
Thank you. So I'm going to start with doing just some movement, but I'd like to just explain how in Oriental medicine they talk of the Wei Qi being the protective body, which is actually their immune defense, and how they describe the immune defense. So we're going to be moving similar to Qigong and Tai Chi. That kind of movement helps to restore health. But the other aspect of those practices is that it allows the body to be interrupted from any kind of stress. So there's a real emphasis on no stress and coming back to a place of real centeredness. So if you're practicing this and at any point your breathing gets a little bit difficult, or you find it challenging, then you come back to something that's more easeful for you, because we have the intention to promote health and to build our immune system. So rest and restorative movement is going to be the best for that. The other areas as far as meridians go that will be opening is the lung meridian, which runs along the inside of the arm down to the thumb, the large intestine meridian, which runs from the index finger all the way up the outside of the arm, actually finishes up in the nose, and there's our lower back as well, along the iliac crest, the large intestine runs. So we'll be opening up those areas. So if I'm doing something that doesn't feel good or it feels a bit awkward for you, then just keep in mind, if it's opening that area, then that's good, and there's no need to push beyond where you are. So be very, very kind to yourself. The first yama in yoga is ahimsa, which means non-harm, no harm. So definitely be safe and practice in your own flow with your own body, wherever it's at tonight. And I'll also mention that, like, whilst I'm doing body work at the moment, those things are in my mind to keep everyone's lungs and large intestine meridians open so that they've got good immune function as much as possible. It's a lot about just letting the body do what it's meant to do and stopping the blockages. And there's an area behind the back. If you just feel yourself at the top of the thoracic spine at T1, there's a little sort of bulge in the vertebrae, and that area is known as the rusty hinge. So we'll be opening up through there and also opening up through our lower back to really clear that. We want to get the areas in the spine and the lower back and the hips all opening up as well. So I've put together a little bit of a practice, and hopefully I've got plenty of time to go through it all, because creativity runs pretty wild when you get started. But it all starts with interrupting the stress response. So we're going to start with breathing, and breathing itself is very important to build prana, which is what this Wei Qi is all about. So let's start by sitting down, cross-legged. Hopefully you're actually going to join me for this and not just watch. So wherever you are, you'll be able to do the breathing. So relax the body and keep a really tall spine. If you've got some music, you might like to put some soft, slow music on to help you relax. And taking some breaths, nice long breaths to connect in with your body. And every time you do an exhale, the body is relaxing a little bit more. Feel the shoulders and notice any tension. We often hold tension in our body without us realizing it. So let's really listen to our body and breathing in, feeling the lungs. And the lungs can fill in all kinds of directions, so allow them to be explored. And exhale, soften. And feel the earth, the connection that you have to the floor and your body, feeling grounded and centered. If you know the Ujjayi breath, this is really great to practice. The best way I've heard the Ujjayi breath explained is that you've got nostrils just in the back of your throat. So you can imagine that you're smelling something from the back of the throat, and as you exhale, you're kind of fogging up a glass if you do it with your mouth open to start with, and then you can practice doing that with your mouth closed. Just breathing through the nose. There's a therapeutic cadence for the breath if you're breathing in for 5 seconds and breathing out for 5 seconds. And Winnie often tells the story when talking about the immune system. What we need to do is stop this holding on to things and learn to actually release and let go, let life happen. Just trust that everything is happening the way it's supposed to happen, and that life is happening for us. And yeah, the story he shares is about a sage walking through the woods, and he looks up into the tree and sees a guy up there 80 meters up in the air, and he's got his hands tied behind his back and his feet tied, and he's hanging on with his teeth. And the sage looks up at him and he says, "Say the one word that's going to save your life." And of course, whatever word he says is going to fall potentially to his death. But I guess the message is not to hold on so tight to anything that you stop living. Just allow the free fall and fly and enjoy life. So let's bring that energy into this practice, that we're not holding on to be anything or anyone, just being in this moment and enjoying every single aspect of it. And let's bring some movement into the back of our heart and the front of our heart by allowing the body to do some spirals here, opening up the lung area, the chest and the ribs. Allow the head to be relaxed. And back the other way. And let go of any kind of form in that. Just allow the body to really move in ways that feel pleasant. And then we're going to come up onto your knees, and you can either tuck the toes underneath at the back or have them down, and we're sitting here with our stomach meridian hugging the earth if our shins are down, and nice open belly, so great for digestion. We're going to bring our breathing into here as well. So inhale, bring the arms up above the head. Notice how the ribs can expand here. We've got plenty of space to breathe. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, bring the hands back towards the heart. A great time for us to set an intention for this movement. So perhaps an intention to increase your health and well-being. And then allow the hands to rise up again. Big breath in. Exhale back into the heart, back into that intention. Maybe to be very present in this moment. Take the hands out in front, and you're going to clasp your hands together, interlacing the fingers, and the palms stay together, but you just draw the hands away from each other, and you might feel an opening through the back of the shoulder blades. And then bring the hands up to the sky, take the palms away and reach up and just hang out here, breathing into the chest and the sides and the top of the rib cage. And also down into the belly. Creating lots of space here. Relax the shoulders. Maybe extend the arms back a little higher, a little bit further back. But keeping the chest and the spine straight and tall. And then exhale and just allow the hands to land softly on top of your head. And inhale back up again one more time. And exhale, allow the hands to go all the way down around towards your lower back, interlacing the fingers. And inhale, lift the heart nice and tall. Opening through that lung line right at the front of the chest. And exhale, coming down. Take the hands to the floor and enjoy some hip movements here where you take your hips from one side to the other and then allow some circles to gather in. Feel any tension that might be hanging out in the sides of the hips. The hip bones and the vertebrae are great sources of bone marrow, which are used to connect with the thymus to create T cells and B cells, which fight our helping our immune system fight off any infections. So we want to keep those hips and the spine nice and fluid and open. Let's take a little twist, so the knees might come a little bit wider, and take the hand into the center and the opposite hand rising right up to the sky or to the roof if you're inside, and threading it underneath and opening up through the back door. And inhaling again, opening it up. And just moving like you're moving through water. There's no rush. Every moment is connected to the next. Swapping to the opposite side, reaching up. Exhale, threading it through, sinking down into the earth and drawing the fingers away from the shoulder, drawing your shoulder back towards your right knee, and then inhale, right hand to the sky. Exhale, hand comes back down to the floor, and we're going to lie down on our belly here and relax everything into the ground. Take the hands a little bit wide and come up onto your fingers, and just rise up on the inhale. The feet can relax, and exhale, bow down. So you've got this wave action happening through the spine. Exhaling down to the ground, inhaling up, and wave, falling back down. This time look over towards your left side and swap to your right side and down to the mat, and press into the hands, rising up, lengthening through and stretching out the lower back, bowing down to the floor. Child's pose, and then coming up, take the knees forwards and cross the legs, coming onto our butt, and then we're going to do some rock and roll, hugging the knees and rocking so that we are massaging the bladder meridian running along the spine. So tuck in nicely into a ball and rock. You might like to play around with some balances, coming into a boat pose, coming back, throwing the feet over, and then coming up and balancing. And we're actually going to throw ourselves up into a squat. So get comfortable in your squat. You can just take a little bit of a twist from side to side. Exhale, ground down, maybe sink a little lower, as low as you can go, dropping the chin, and then inhale, take the right hand to the sky, reaching up for those more branches, and exhale down, inhale, left arm to the sky, exhale, back down to the floor, press into the hands and step down, back into a downward facing dog, and walk the heels down to the earth, one at a time. Again, everything that you do can be done with lots of listening and rhythm with your breath. No rush. Allow time to open the body up. If at any time you need a rest, then you can always come down to a child's pose, or just come to a seat or relax down. Come right up onto the toes, tip toes, maybe press into the fingers a little bit more, and the shoulders come a little closer to the thighs. And then we're going to roll into a plank. Softly land back on our belly, and then inhale, lift the heart. Relax the feet and press a little into the hands to get the front of the body to open up. Nice and long through the spine, and then exhale. Folding back down, press into the hands. Stretch back into your child's pose. Drop the head down. Relax. And then coming up, take the hands a little bit further away, and then allow the heart to connect with the earth. And the chin comes nice and low. Inhale, coming back, pressing the hands in and tucking the toes, downward facing dog. And then walk your feet a little closer to your hands. And we come into this forward bend, which is excellent for opening up through the lower back. Here we're just going to pulse a few breaths, so you can inhale, lift the heart and the head, and exhale, soften, fold forward. Inhale, lift, and exhale, soften down. One more time, inhale, lift, and exhale, soften down, and then curl the spine by tucking the tail and rolling up really, really slowly, allowing the head to come up at the end last. Feel the connection, through the feet and find the balance, standing strong and tall like a mountain. Connecting back into your breath and feeling the breath fill the belly, the heart, around the lungs, and exhale back into the earth. Gonna do an activation of the Wei Qi by taking a palm and tapping into the letting go point at the front of the shoulder. There's like a little groove here just beneath the collarbone. And then take the arm out and tap right down the lung line and turn the palm over, and you're actually tapping in here. There's a little point, large intestine 4, which is great for immune function, and then tap up that large intestine line into the crooked pond and hang out there in that elbow crease for a little while before coming on up back to the shoulder, and then down the other side. And up, go into large intestine 4 and up the large intestine line all the way back up. You can get in just at the back of the shoulder there too. And tapping around, pretty much any kind of tapping that you do is going to be activating, because the organ related to the lungs is also the skin. A really good defense mechanism. And in here we've got stomach 36, which is 4 finger breadths underneath the knee along the tibialis anterior, so on the outside of the shin. You can tap in there. This is a point that is used for so many things. Great for balancing blood pressure, digestion, and boosting our immunity. And then come on up the spleen line. And then just tap around your body wherever it feels called to tap, maybe in at the kidneys, the lower back. If you've got a friend, again, get them to stand in front of you, and you can tap along their spine, not on their spine, but along the sides of the spine. Get them to bend forwards and tap along the outside, along the iliac crest. You'll be feeling really welcome and wonderful. And shake it all out. Hold the palms out in front and just shake the hands like this. Imagine that you've got some emotional energy that's kind of caught up in the arms, and you're just rinsing it off. Feel how the body feels after doing all that. You might feel a sensation of tingling and warmth in the body and the hands. Just enjoy that feeling. And we're going to do a little yoga flow. Maybe before we actually get into it, allow the body to relax a little bit more, surrendering and twisting, getting some blood flow into the spine, and just allow the arms to be as free as they can. And you can take it as large or small as you want, just listening to your body. That's the main thing that we need to do when it comes to being well, is learning to listen, learning when to stop and learning when to go, balancing it all out, knowing our weak points, working on them. And then allow the body to come to a natural standstill. You should be feeling pretty activated at this point. So the yoga sequence that I do may be a little bit challenging, so just go with what your body wants to do. You can always just come back to Tadasana, standing or sitting. You're welcome for it to be your practice. I'm going to inhale and lift the arms up above the head. Exhale into the heart. What was that intention that we set earlier? Come back to that. Allow the hands to come behind your back and interlace the fingers. Lift the heart. And exhale. Release the hands. Come back up to the sky. And exhale, fold forward, soften the knees and hang out in this forward bend. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, we're going to step our right foot back and come into a high lunge. Drop the back knee and then rise up, opening through the front of the thigh. And then sink back into a half Hanuman, stretching the hip away from the heel and letting the spine be long on the inhale. And as you exhale, you might soften down a little bit further. You might take your hands a little bit further away. Inhale and exhale, soften. Inhale, bend the knee again. Bring the arms up above the head. And exhale, take the right hand onto the inside of the left foot and rise up to a high lunge again. And we're going to take the twist to the left arm. And then like an elephant drinking, we can bring the hand down and inhale, rise it up. And down. And one more time, let it rise up. We're opening up through here, the large intestine line, through the back of the leg. And then take the arm around and straighten up the leg, maybe hop the back foot forward a little and open up through the hamstrings, the back of the body that can grip a little tight onto tension and fear. Drop the head down, bring the nose a little closer to the knee, and draw the right hip forward so that the hips are squared. And then press into the hand. See if you can slide that foot back and take it up to the sky into a three-legged dog. And exhale, bring that leg back down into the center. And we're actually going to take the outside of the foot over to the opposite side and open up along down the sidelines of the body. And then bring the leg back up to the sky. Exhale, bring it in between the hands. And just get the legs set so you're kind of in a triangle pose and you've got the balance on both legs. You can almost straighten that front leg. And place the right hand down and just going to twist the body again towards the left side with a straighter leg. And bring that hand down, coming up into your warrior. And allow the body to pulse here with your breath. So you inhale and reach your fingers wide out. And exhale, soften down a little bit lower. Imagine you're floating through the clouds. And exhale, and then reach the hands away. Draw them behind the lower back. Inhale, lift the heart and open through those lung lines. And exhale, fold forwards into a humble warrior. Release the hands down, stretch the fingers away from the body, and allow the body to turn and face the side and come into a low skandasana. Over to the other side. Nice. If you want to use the hands to move across, or if you'd like to keep the legs more active, then you can allow the hands to float, but use the hands if it feels better to do that. And we've got a great little twist we can do here. So if you come over onto your left side, then we can twist it around and the back toes come underneath. We move through this high lunge and keep rolling over the back foot to the knife edge, and then we can open up here. Lift the hips a little higher and open up. Coming back, that's getting into that large intestine line at the back. Swapping to the other side, and then this time we're going to come forwards and come back to our warrior. So you can come into warrior here, reach forwards, and then inhale up and just open up through the back before we windmill down to the earth and come back to our downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths resting here. If you like, you can bring the knees down and rest in a child's pose. And we're going to come forwards and roll our spine as much as possible, like a wave, to plank and back. And then this time, as we come through, we can come all the way into an upward facing, or your version. You might like to come all the way down and just rise up into a cobra or a sphinx. If you've got it in you and it feels good, you can try just dancing between down dog and up dog, allowing the spine to have this wave. Then you're going to take our left foot up to the sky and step through between the hands into this high lunge. Nice. Drop the knee down. Going to rise up. Exhale, hands back to the floor. Sink back into half Hanuman. Breathe and relax. Take the hands a little bit further away perhaps. Take the nose a little closer to the knee and keep those hips square, drawing the left hip back. And then inhale, coming forward. And inhale, bring the arms up above the head, reaching up to the clouds. And exhale, coming forwards, tucking the toe underneath at the back. And then where we should be on the other side. I think we already did that side, so just swap that over. We're going to bring that leg in and step the left foot back. And here we are, rising up. And exhale, coming back down. And then we straighten out this side here. I was getting excited about that left leg. And that's one great thing that we always learn, is that mistakes make things better. Exhale, open through the back of the hamstring, releasing and relaxing. Drop the head down, and then inhale, come up, just checking the time. Okay. And we take the right hand to the sky, and we take a big sip of water under the leg and open up. Exhale, coming down, and inhale, rising up. Take the hand down and allow a little bit of a stretch through the front of the leg. Allow the head to drop forwards. And we're going to press into the hands and stretch that right leg up in a 3-legged dog. And then as you come through, bend the right knee into the chest and take the right foot over to the left side of the body, cross it over and park the knife edge down on the ground and get that stretch coming through the outside of the leg, allowing us to open up the gallbladder channel, which is really good at controlling. We want to get as much fluidity into there as possible. Step that right foot back, forwards again, and get set up so that you're almost in triangle. So the back leg is turned 45 degrees, and you're well balanced between the front and the back leg. And then see if you can start twisting the triangle, reaching up to the sky. Take a few breaths here if you can. If that hand doesn't like to go up, it can sit resting on the hip. Exhale, drawing it down. I'm going to take the right leg back up to the sky, stretching it out, and then again we come in to the high lunge and we rise up into our warrior. take a few breaths here. And then take the hands, interlace them behind the back, reach the chest to the sky, and then bend forwards over between the knee and fold down into humble warrior. A servant of life. What is it that you're here to do? I'm just going to move, but you guys just stay where you are and take your hands away as far as they can. Take those fingertips right away and then reach back with the hip and then come back with the hands, framing the front leg. I'm going to step that leg back one more time up to the sky and bringing it down into a downward dog. Wave your spine and drop the hips down, taking the head up right at the end. Enjoying every moment, moving slowly and coming up. I'm going to take a seat. Bring that, oh, hang on. One more thing I forgot on that side. You're going to step your right foot between your hands. I'm going to twist over so that I'm looking at you. Step your right foot between the hands and come into that low skandasana from one side to the other. And then we come all the way over on the right side and take a spin. So that back foot comes up over to the other side and we reach back. And then we come forwards. So we're going to bring our legs out in front to finalize. I think I've got to finish up in 2 minutes. I was just going to do, just if you've got any questions, then throw them up and I'll see if I can answer them whilst we finish off. But we're going to come into Janu to open up that lower back area. So take the left hand to the side of the hip, the right hand to the sky, turn to face the foot and bow down. And take the hand on the outside of the foot and breathe in, straighten the spine, and exhale, soften down, nose comes to the knee. And then as we come out, let the arm rise up. Take the hand to the opposite side of the body, sweep the left hand up, and we come into a side bend, an opener for the psoas. And then switch to the other side. Right hand plants down, left hand to the sky. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, soften down towards the knee. Inhale up. Take the hand back, sweep the right hand across and open up to a side bend. And you can hang out in those side bends for a little bit longer to help that psoas muscle, which is related to that adrenaline response. Relax. And now I guess I suggest that you lie down on your back and take your knees and hug them into your chest, and then roll your knees from side to side and have a little bit of a spinal twist before softening down into a shavasana. If your mind is still busy, then come back to that ujjayi breath and really focusing on the movement of the belly, moving in and out. And yeah, I'm going to close the session here. And if there is any questions at all that anyone has, then please throw them in the little comments or chat, and I'd be really happy to answer. And if anyone has any questions after this session, then please be in touch. I'll be running an online, the next online thing I have is a pregnancy yoga on Friday at 10:30, and I have a women's circle on Friday evening, which is going to be based on relationships. So talking about all things, relationship to self, relationship to nature, any kind of relationship issues that people are exploring. It's a really interesting time. So it's great to connect with women. The tapping comes, it's called batting. And I get it from Gwen, who I believe would get it through like a Qigong kind of practice. So yeah, it activates the Wei Qi by batting on the skin, and they use it in massage as well. So you can, there's so many different rhythms that you can use, which is great for the body to explore sort of stillness, and then sometimes it's good for it to really just get a little bit of batting and patting around. Cool. Thank you, Stephen. Good to have you here too. And thanks, Tobes. We'll finish it up. Yeah, have a wonderful evening. Enjoy this moment, the first moment of the rest of your life.